We're live. All right, I had to put the stream in vertical. I wanted it in horizontal, but I had to put it in vertical for the stream. How's everybody doing? So today is the day that we're gonna have a fun super challenge, and it's called Feeling Blue. We're going to do an intuitive art start. Okay, so what I call it an intuitive art start because we're going to be painting intuitively. It may end up being just an intuitive painting, meaning you love it the way it is. But it also could be a start to a background, right? So it could end up a background. Often this is how I paint the backgrounds to my florals or to my like zoomorphia and all that, is I just paint usually without an idea of what I want. And sometimes halfway through it starts to become, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make this a background to my floral or whatever. But we're just gonna get messy with paint. And the challenge is to use all one color palette. So we're gonna use blues and then add white and black. So you can get as many shades of blue using white and black as you can. But I have all my shades of blue already out, so I probably won't be mixing shades of blue, but I will be adding black and white to my canvas. What I have out is I have lots and lots of paints, and then I just have all the different tools I found around the house. This is an a vintage, Sue Bargetto gave this to me, a vintage pattern roller. I have a few other rollers to do things with. I have some sponges, some scrapers. I have tissue paper, magazine paper. I've got acrylic markers, so everything. The point here is just to start getting stuff on and having a lot of fun with paint, right? So that's what we're doing. It's intuitive art, having fun with paint. The other thing is I want to let you know that I will not be talking to you a lot during this or responding to your comments or anything like that. I won't be responding because my plan is to get really, really involved in the painting. Okay. This was supposed to be a private broadcast and I messed up and I didn't make it private. So you're going to see other people on here, you guys. Okay. So we're just going to get started. I'm going to paint and I'll probably just do a little bit of narration of what I'm doing. It's not a skill-based paint situation. It's more of an intuitive, and it's just getting down and getting messy with paint. The first thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to encourage you all to do that, is to get some words down on the canvas. And as we talked about in the group, my word was for January. Instead of doing that stupid word of the year thing, which we all forget about halfway through the year or a couple months in, I shouldn't say stupid because, it's not stupid. I thought, oh, I'm going to do a word of the month. So then when I get sick of it or I change my path or my tune or whatever, I can choose another word that begets what I'm doing. Okay. So I'm going out after this. So I have nice clothes on underneath this and just put this up. Okay. So I'm going to get started and I'm going to put that word down on there. These are acrylic markers, acrylic ink markers, and they are like little dot markers, like when we were in school, we used to do those dot markers, but they're way better. So my word is build. And I'm going to start build on what you are good at, and then on what you love. There you go. So that's my word. That is super. I love creating canvases and just getting some black on there and putting a little message on there. I know it's here. I'm always going to know it's here. Nobody else really needs to know it's here. So I'm just drying that really quick. And then I'm just going to start putting my stuff on. I'm going to start with some decoupage and just getting patterns on. All right, so just getting some black and white on here. I'm looking for my decoupage medium. It's over here. So I have matte medium. And I have a sponge brush over here, so I'm just going to start getting some stuff on there, okay? I think it's funny that I forgot to put this on. So I know some of you guys are watching through Patreon, so you can't see what's going on YouTube. And I forgot to put it on private, so it's streaming to my public page, and some idiots are on here. And all that never ever bothers me. I just typically tend to think it's funny that people have nothing better to do with their time than to watch some stupid paint video when they're not even interested in painting. They're just interested in saying stupid stuff. So all the power to me, because my life is a little bit better than that. But you guys who come on and say stupid stuff, keep on saying stupid stuff. That is really cool, because all that does is improve things for me. So I'm just going to start throwing stuff on here. It's not about a pattern or a design. It's just about working loosely and just letting go. So I'm going to get a lot of this black and white striped stuff on here. And when I do this kind of decoupage, where it's not like decoupage, we're not worried about wrinkles and all that, because there is going to be so much, like, so many layers on here. We want the wrinkles to be in here. We like the wrinkles. So stupid. Oh my God. There we go. So you guys would, if you guys follow me, you know how much I love black and white. So it's no surprise that I'm putting black and white as my base on here, and a good amount of it. Oh, and I found this little sheet of paper, little doodle papers. So we'll just put that right over. Even if I tear this paper, I'm not going to care. There's not going to be a care in the world about that. So see I'm going right over some of the stuff that I already did. You can see the beginning of the layers. And it's just really fun because little hints of everything that's already on there is going to pop through. So if you're watching from the group in Patreon, then stay tuned until halfway through, and then I'll tell you what we're going to be doing after we get all the layers of black, white, and blue on here. Because then we're going to change it up, right? That won't just be the end of this intuitive project. That'll be the beginning of the project. I'm going to go with some blue now. So I got these napkins and I shredded them apart. Okay, see how pretty those are? That china blue, right? Looks like nice, your fine china. And I love this detail because the writing that's underneath, you can really see it, because these are even thinner than the tissue paper, these pieces of napkin. Oh, so it's really pretty. And it rips very easily, so I am ripping it, but that's okay. When you're doing this, like you can decoupage these napkins to like your tennis shoes actually, and it'll stay on forever because it's so thin it just melts into the fabric. Oh, I love the blue. Love the blue. Loving it. I'm going to rip it down here, just rip it off. Get a nice raw edge. Get that buckled down. Look at that. So pretty. Loving it. Loving it. Loving the blue. Put a little bit more here. Put a lot of medium here just so I don't rip it. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, look at the black and white stripes underneath it. All right, so if you're watching from Patreon, just to let you know, I'm not talking a lot to the camera or looking at comments because I'm just trying to just be in my zone. So if you have questions, just ask them and then I'll get back. And then if you are on on YouTube and you're in my group, you're gonna see some strangers come on here because I forgot to put it on private. So we're getting that beautiful YouTube community that likes to harass people. But don't worry about it because I think they're funny. Don't worry about me. All right, I just got some other blues from a magazine and I'm just gonna start throwing them on here. Put lots of matte medium on. so I can just get it on upside down. I put it on, who cares? It doesn't matter. And oh my gosh, look at this tissue paper. So this is paper that I made, that I just printed. So I'm gonna put some of that on there. This looks really pretty on stuff. It's gonna get darker as I put it on because that's chalk paint, so that's always fun. Watch that, it's gonna get darker. See that? Because I just activated the chalk paint or sealed it. Whenever you seal chalk paint, it gets really dark, or a lot darker than most chalk paint. Chalk paint that doesn't have any acrylics in it. There's some chalk paint out on the market nowadays that have acrylics in it, like acrylics or plastics or whatever. Like the one coat chalk paints, or the paints that you don't have to do anything to. Those won't darken up so much because they already have a sealer in them, and that means they're not actually chalk paint, but whatever. We're not going to get technical about it. Alright, turn the edge off of this. This is another piece of paper that I made with some bubble wrap. It's just really, really pretty. Okay, so if you're on watching and you're cool and you're not being a fool, say hi. If you're on Patreon and you have questions, just let me know and I'll answer the questions. All right, let's see. I want a little bit more coverage on this, so maybe I'll do some other stuff on here. Okay, I'm going to dry that, and then I'm going to move on to something else, some other patterny stuff. So let me get this in water, and I'll get the hair dryer out, and we'll dry it. I do it so fast that I don't really pay attention. So some pieces will peel off and I'll just peel them off. Or just put some paint over them and then they'll stick down. I'm not really worried because there's just going to be lots and lots of, hi Monica, did you see what's going on here? I forgot to make it private and so there's some fools on here. But it's okay, it's turning it into a fun, interesting evening. Getting called a granny and being asked to strip is not the worst thing that's ever happened to me. So I'm just drying this so I can just go in and do some other stuff. But I think what I'm going to try, and I've never used this before or done it, but I got this pattern roller from Sue Bargetto. It's a old one, it's vintage, and I think I'm going to try and rub it in black ink and see if I can get kind of more pattern around the edges. I don't know if this is going to work, but I have another idea if it doesn't work, but I'm going to try this. And it looks like my ink is pretty dry, so I don't think it's going to work, but I have another idea. No, that's not going to work. Okay, so my other idea is to take some paint. So I'm going to start blue. I'm going to start with some blue and get some blue on here. I'm going to dump it out on my huge palette. I've got a big old plastic tray from a catering event. I'm going to dump some out on there, a good amount. With a big brush, I'm going to go in, I'm going to paint some paint on there. Maybe I'll even do it with this roller brayer. This is a brayer. And just get some paint on. Cover the brayer in paint. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's cool. Okay, now my idea, and I'll do that again in a minute. My idea with this, if that didn't work, the ink, and I don't know if this is gonna work either, but it doesn't matter. All right, is to go like that with a paper towel and see if I can get some pattern on there by just pressing into that and pulling up some of that. Oh, boom chakalaka. You probably can't see it, but it is cool beans. That, look at. So, that's really pretty, isn't it? Isn't that pretty? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get some tissue paper out so I have some, not some tissue paper, it's deli paper, so I can get some of that pattern on some deli paper and I can use it later. Where's my deli paper though? Oh my God, please let me find my deli paper really quickly here. I have a whole bunch of it, but here's a few sheets. All right, so we're gonna do that again with the brayer because that was cool as crap. I love this French blue color. So this is my it's called Artistic easel. It spins, it tilts in all sorts of different directions. It's pretty cool. So with the sprayer, I'm not trying to get full coverage. I'm just trying to get texture on there. So this is perfect. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay. You need to order deli paper. Yeah, everybody should have a good deli paper. I can already see that it's working because it's popping through. Not as well as the tissue paper worked, but I still have a pretty interesting pattern there, or as the paper towel works. So I'm going to go with the paper towel. The next one. I can always decoupage a paper towel onto my art too. It's just so pretty. Look at some of the black came up too. Let's put some on there. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. I'm going to do a little bit more down here on the edges and maybe down at the bottom. So if you didn't come on in the beginning, this is our I'm Feeling Blue challenge, paint challenge, and we're doing an intuitive art, meaning you're not really thinking about what you're doing, you're just getting your tools out and putting it on the canvas. And we're starting with blues, white, and black. We will move on from there, but I'm not going to tell you right yet what we're going to do. But I will tell you at the end of this. Oh, it's just so pretty. It's just such a subtle little pattern that goes on there. I love it. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And then what if I just decoupaged that on there? Yep, let's do it. This is a paper towel. So this is, again, something I've never done, but I said I was going to put fabric on These are those low lint paper towels though, so they're pretty sturdy. There's a lot of water in my mixed media brush, so, or in my foam brush, so let's see if I can get some of that out. And we'll get this paper towel just to stick to that down here. Yep. Even the water in my brush is going to help that because it's soaking through the paper towel and it's, you know, allowing everything to stick. Maybe, baby, maybe not. It's all about experimentation, right? Oh, that's cool. Okay, see that? Isn't that cool? You need to order some deli paper, Monica. Order some deli paper. Yeah, deli paper is just the shiznizzle, especially for all your scrapbooking and journaling and all that. I didn't mean scrapbooking, I meant journaling. All right, we're gonna get something else on here. I really, really want to get some cursive writing. I kind of wanted to do this, but I think I'm just gonna do my own writing. And I heard something from somebody a long time ago. We're gonna dry this, and ooh, so far I'm liking it. We're gonna dry it, and I'll talk while I'm drying it. So as far as putting your own writing on paintings, somebody a long time ago said that I was listening to, and she was like a writing specialist in art and all that. She said, trust me, just write fast, right? Like know what you're gonna write and write it fast and don't worry about it that it's not legible. It's gonna look better, right? If people don't know exactly what it says, but like kind of have an idea, and then it looks more organic if you put it down there fast. So I guess that's what I'm gonna do. Dry because I'm going to go in, I don't want to ruin my acrylic marker. I love how you can see the words through it up here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Sometimes drying acrylic paint with heat makes it sticky, and so I actually have the cold setting on right now. Whew, that's wet up there. All right, I'm going to avoid that area up there because it's wet, and now I'm going to find a Posca marker, which I have plenty of. All right, and I'm going to write about building. Again, this is all going to be about building. Let's see. And now I'm just going to write from my heart. Kind of love. Accept love as pure and let everyone love the way they feel comfortable with. Most of that's going to be covered, but probably some of it's going to peek through, so I want that to happen. All right, and I have a big old bare spot down here, so let's stick something on there. Okay, I got another black and white. I'm gonna have to get another paintbrush out. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna deal with it. It's very wet, but that's okay. I'll dry it off on my table. Nice, it's dripping, it's wrinkling, it's doing all the things. This is my absolute favorite way to create. All right, we're gonna go on with some more paint. All right, so I got blue on my canvas. I'm gonna get a darker blue, and then I'm gonna mix some white with it. And I didn't even say Happy New Year to everybody. But Happy New Year, everyone. All right, so I got this tool while I was in Indiana. It's for spreading a big ass cake. I got it at Sur La Table, but it was on sale for $5, so I had to buy it. So I'm gonna stick that in my blue paint, in my dark blue paint, and then I've got some light blue paint still on the palette. So I'm just gonna stick it in there and see what I can do with this. Not much. I think I need more paint on the palette to do anything. Oh, there we go. I like that. Those paints mixing are fabulous. Ooh, that dark blue is so pretty. So this is what I like about putting paper down first, is it creates texture. So when I'm going over things, the paint is sticking in some parts and not. But now the paint is really, really thick there. And so that's what I get to do. Well, I'm gonna take this off so I don't ruin it. But I get to play with that thick paint and maybe take some of that paint off. Not with this. I know what I can do. So this has nothing on it, right? And so maybe it will suck up some of that paint. Well, it didn't, but it's allowing me to create some more movement throughout here. No, that's not what I want. I want to scrape it off. There we go. More little circles in here. So that's making little white circles. So we're gonna have to do more of that because I enjoy that. But I have a smaller one of these somewhere around here. This is when I create this way, I make an enormous mess. But that's okay because we're gonna have 2 snowy days, so I'm gonna have a lot of time to spend in the studio. I'm gonna do this with that blue. There. let's see. Da, da, da. So movement is so key when you're painting big pieces. You want strokes to go all the way across, which means I learned this when I was a preschool teacher. It's so good for your brain too. Crossing the midline of a work of art, it's just a really, really good thing. It just really helps your right and left brain development. So all the way across, that creates movement in the piece as well. I'm going to do that again down here, the same movement, but down here. Look at that, smearing what's on the canvas. Oh my gosh, I love blue. I love blue. Now, I'm going to do the same thing I just did with the end of something. Just writing words, making scribbles, circles. I'm a circle lover. Mark making. X's and O's. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to take another color of blue, maybe a lighter blue, or maybe I'll just mix up. I'll put some white in that blue on the palette. And I'm going to get a big printmaker circle or something. So I'm just going to add some white onto my palette. Stir it up with a brush. Ooh, it's getting hot in here. Like, it's so cold outside, but the heater's on. Oh, maybe I'll strip after all. Yeah, I think I'm going to start stripping. Make that guy happy. Probably got kicked off by now, I think. It said his comments were in review. So yeah, I'm going to strip. Better. All right, let's see here. So let me find something round. I kind of want a big round piece. And so all I have to do is come into the arsenal of mess that I have, and this is a great round piece. So I'm going to get some circles on here. And I mix white and blue, and I got a nice light blue. That's really pretty. Now a lot of this, in fact, you know, if this stays an intuitive piece, then it stays an intuitive piece, right? But most often my intuitive art pieces, because I'm not like, I used to be really into like the spiritual looking intuitive art, and I'm not so much anymore. I mean, I love to look at it, but making it, I don't know. And so most of my intuitive art pieces start off as intuitive art, and then they end up a background to something. So that's the fun part of it, is I can make it, and it doesn't have to turn into something I love until I decide that I'm going to do something else with it, right? So that's one of the reasons why it's such a free form of creating. Look at all this stuff and decide what I like and what I want to keep, and you know what works for me. I love that. I love it. So I love those big dots. Perfect. All right. So clean that off. Throw it away. Whew. Time is going by quickly. So now I just have to stand back, look at it, and see what I want on here. And I don't really know, okay? But what I do know is the next part of this, I think I'm going to add some more of this tissue paper down here, because I think this is probably going to end up going into like a big mixed media floral piece. The next part of this challenge, after you finish covering your whole canvas with blues, right? With different colors of blues. What I want you to do, and this is what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do it right here on here because I'm going to add something else before we go. But what I want you to do is look at the different shades of blue that you have, okay? So if I look at this, I have kind of like a violet blue, right? I mean, we don't see it as violet blue, but the color wheel calls it a violet blue on here. Probably this is the closest to that. And if I even go to violet blue with white added into it, so this is the colors, and then this going this way is with shading added into it, black added into it, and this is the colors going this way, adding white into it. So it's really close to this color, is this color right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go opposite the color wheel and find the color that is complementary to that color. So you have complementary to that color and split complementary. So the color that is the best fit for that is this yellow orange. Okay, so I'm going to add that into it. Okay, but then I'm going to look at this dark blue that I have on here. And the dark blue that I have on here is blue violet, okay? And it's shady, really dark down here. And so then I'm gonna look at the split complementary, and it's this yellow ochre, orange, says orange, yellow. So I'm gonna add those colors into it. Now, usually what I wanna add to this is pinks, right? And so the other thing I can do is I can look at it this way, right? So you have to have one of these color wheels that shows you everything. It shows you a triad, it shows you a split complementary. So what I'm looking at is a triad here. And this triad of colors looks really good together. Now that helps me because I always want to go to the pink side of things. And then if I turn it around, and I have a lot of white in there. I've got the blue violet, and I want to get pink in there. I can go like, am I allowed to get pink in there? Well, yeah, I am, because I have these colors in there. And so this is going to look really good with it. As long as I add in some of this for the brightness, because these are all kind of dark, even though the pink is light. Anyways. So that's what we're going to do, but what I want everybody to do is find your blues, because all blues are different. Now, I didn't put any green blue on there, and if I want to get, which I can do, right? Because if I go like, okay, I'm going to do all of these blues, right? And I do green blue, then that's going to help me get where I want. Which is the one? The more green I go, the more pink I can do. Okay, so like if I add green in there, then I can get my favorite color of pink, which is actually red. And I try to tell that to my mom all the time. She's like, I hate pink. I'm like, no, you don't. Red's your favorite color. And she's like, red's my favorite color, but I hate pink. And I'm like, Mom, pink is red. Okay, red, red's right here. All of these are pink, right? Because it's when you add white. So you never say, we never say, I hate blue, or I hate light blue, but I like blue. No, it's, I mean, so you basically, pink should have been called light red. Yay for blues and yellows. So that's what we're going to get. But the thing is what I want to do is I want to let this dry, and then I want to put splotches of white down first. Otherwise, if I want it to show blue and yellow, that will show blue and green if I put the yellow right over, because you know, Monica, yellow, unless it's a pale yellow with a lot of titanium, is so translucent. All right, but I'm going to get, right now, I'm going to get a little bit more white on here, and I think I am going to get into the green blues. And add that in there. And I've got some golden colors that I can just kind of drip on and smear them. I think this one is turquoise phthalo, so it's like a green blue. And then I'm going to drip drip on some white. So I think I'm just gonna do some dripping with that and then smear it. So actually I'll just tilt this up a little bit so it doesn't drip so readily. Perfect. And then let's just do something fun here. This is 100% my favorite way. So yeah, this is a very green blue, but it counts because it's in the green, it's in the blue-green family, right? Because they're calling it turquoise phthalo. Well, I don't know if it counts, but I did it. You can call me a cheater. And then I'm going to get some white on there and do kind of. Oh, well, see, I actually just liked that. And so I think what I'm going to do is just go. And then scrape it. That's what I like. Okay, so I'm just going to use this little scraper. Maybe I have a wider one. I do have a wider one somewhere. There it is. I just love movement. And so by whipping that on there, that created the movement that I love. See how that moves? Creates movement in a piece. I'm just going with that same stroke that I did, creating some movement. Oh, that's pretty right there. See how that blended in up there? Can you see that? Right there. So I have a lot of opportunity to blend paint because I've got a lot of wet paint on here. I'm just wiping this paint off here. I did prep the canvas by putting, look at that. That's pretty. Lots of colors on this little shaper brush right now, so that's cool. I want every single edge covered with, it could be white or whatever, or paint, it could be anything, but I want the edges covered. So I'm just going through the edges. Oh, so fun. All right. So that's that. So it's covered. That's that. So I could leave it like that and say, hey, this is my intuitive art and that's what I want to do. Or I could let it dry and then come back to it tomorrow and say like, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to keep on going with intuitive art? Or is this going to be a background? Or am I going to keep on going with the background and add the yellows? So what I'm inclined to do right now, like in my head, and we'll see tomorrow because I'm going to be painting for 2 days because it's going to be snowing. I'm so excited. What I'm inclined to do, what my mind is already telling me to do, is to make this into a floral piece and have a lot of yellow in the floral piece, right? And of course I get to add the greens and the pinks because I'm going to have some greens in my floral because I'm going to have, so it's going to be all these colors that always work well together, the greens. And when I make my florals, like some people like say like, how do you make the colors look good all the time when you use all the colors? And I do use my color wheel, you guys. I'm going to pick up my color wheel again. So what I try to do, and I just try to do it by sight. I mean, I don't use my color wheel, but I kind of know, like, if I'm using this bright green, which I often use this bright green, I'm going to use this bright pink, okay? If I'm using a pale green, I'm going to use this pale pink. That's what works the best. You can make them all work, but that's what works the best, right? And so same thing here, right? If I'm using this, let's go opposites. the darker green is always going to look better with a darker red, right? So this is that darker green, right? Lime green looks really good with magenta or red violet, if you want to call it. But usually my color palette is actually with white added to it, and so I'm in this bright white green and these pinks. So this is usually this side of the wheel is usually where my color palette lands. This is just shaded down a little bit, okay? So, and I just do love yellow green too, and then I love I know it looks good with red, violet, purple. It looks good with all of these colors right here. Anyway, so that's what you want to look at. That's what I do. And we'll see. I'll share with you. I'll make some of those quick videos that I've been doing lately and share with you the rest of the progress. So that's what I'm going to be doing for you guys on Patreon. On my group, on the group, it's free to everybody now. And so that's where we're going to share our paintings, our completed paintings, and anything else art related that you want to share, as long as it's not promoting another, you know, person like me. Because that would be not smart for me. Anyways, but we're going to share all of our works of art on that page and share all of our wins and all of that on the Color Me Creative Artist in the Making page. Okay? All right, you guys, thank you for being here, and have a great rest of your week. I will be sharing. Hopefully you guys will do some of this with me and share along with me. Stay warm and dry. And if you have snow, please throw a snowball for me. Okay? I'm definitely going to throw a snowball. Okay? Bye, you guys. Bye, Monica.